This might be the episode that changes everything about how The Boys ends. Not because of one twist, not because of one death, but because what happens in this chapter fundamentally rewrites the rules of the entire show. Homelander taking V1 is not just a power upgrade. It is the moment this story stops being about whether he can be stopped and starts being about whether anyone even has the tools left to try. Hey, what's up everyone? Come back to Breakdown Epic. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. Now, I've been covering The Boys all season, and this episode hit differently. It did not feel like another chapter building towards something bigger. It felt like the thing itself, the pivot, the moment that every storyline has been pointing towards since the V1 mystery began. And honestly, after a couple of episodes that left people questioning the pacing, this one delivered in a way that reminded me why this show matters. So let's break the whole thing down.
The episode opens with the legend, and right away the tone feels different. This is not some side character popping in for fan service. This is a man who has been inside the machine for decades. He watched the system build itself around people like Homelander. He helped create the mythology. And now he is living the opposite end of that mythology. Frozen accounts, no status, working at a movie theater under a fake name. That setup alone says a lot about how this world treats people once they stop being useful. But what really makes his scene special is the conversation with Homelander, because this is not a man trying to survive by lying or begging. He is calm, he is honest, and he is saying something that Homelander has never been able to accept, which is that everybody eventually gets pushed aside, no matter how powerful, no matter how feared, no matter how worshipped. Time wins. In my personal opinion, that scene is one of the best in the entire season because it does something almost nobody has been able to do with Homelander, which is speak to him like a human being without flinching. The legend is not afraid because he has already accepted what is coming, and you can actually see how much that throws Homelander off. He is used to hearing heartbeats accelerate. He is used to smelling fear, but calm honesty from someone who should be terrified, that gets under his skin in a way violence never could.
And I think that conversation may have actually saved the legend's life. Not permanently, not guaranteed, but in that moment, Homelander chose not to kill him. And I believe it is because for once, someone was not performing in front of him. They were just being real. Now, let's move to the Bombsite confrontation, because this is where the episode starts building real momentum. Sister Sage showing up at Butcher's operation is a massive development. This is someone who has been playing every angle from inside Vought, and now she is openly working against Homelander. That tells you exactly how dangerous she believes the situation has become. She would not burn her position unless she was certain staying was no longer an option. Her knowing how to find Bombsite through Golden Geisha is smart strategic writing because it connects an emotional relationship to a tactical objective. Bombsite disappeared because watching the person he loved age while he stayed frozen was too painful. That is such a human motivation for someone with superhuman power, and it makes his return feel earned rather than convenient. When Bombsite finally appears and fights, it becomes immediately clear that he is not just another soup. He is physically dominant enough to handle both Butcher and Kimiko. He is bulletproof, and he has been living with V1 in his system for decades, which means he has had more time to understand his own body than almost anyone else alive.
But the moment that really caught me is when Frenchie says they would destroy the V1 if they got it, and Kimiko agrees. That is huge, because it tells us that even the people who could benefit most from immunity are willing to give it up if it means keeping it away from Homelander. That is real sacrifice. That is the kind of choice that defines characters. In my opinion, that moment quietly became one of the most important in the episode, because it shows exactly how far the stakes have pushed these people. They would rather die human than risk Homelander becoming unkillable. Then, Soldier Boy arrives, and everything shifts again. Soldier Boy secretly making a deal with Sister Sage is one of the most interesting developments of the season, because it confirms something a lot of people have been speculating about. He does not actually want Homelander to succeed.
He may not fully be on the side of the boys either, but he absolutely does not want his son becoming immortal. And he has personal history with Bombsite that gives him his own reasons to be involved. That creates a very complicated dynamic, because now we have Butcher's crew, Soldier Boy, Sister Sage, and Bombsite, all occupying the same space with overlapping but different motivations. Everyone wants something slightly different, and that is exactly the kind of tension that makes the final stretch of a show like this feel unpredictable. Now, let's get to the moment that defines the episode. Homelander getting V1.
This is the thing the entire season has been building toward, and the fact that it happens here in episode 6, rather than in the finale, tells me the writers want the consequences of this decision to play out across the final 2 episodes, rather than being saved for a last-minute twist. That is actually a really bold structural choice, because now, instead of wondering if Homelander will get V1, the question becomes, what does the world look like now that he has it? And the answer, based on everything we know about this character, is terrifying. Homelander with mortality was already the most dangerous person in this universe. Homelander without mortality? That is something else entirely. That is a man who no longer has any reason to hold back, any reason to perform, any reason to pretend he cares about approval. Because if you cannot die, then what is left to fear? And I think that is where the final 2 episodes are heading. The Democratic Church of America, the internment camps, the reckoning he promised, all of it is about to accelerate because the one thing that was still making Homelander cautious, his own survival, is now off the table. In my opinion, this also sets up the most important question of the entire series. How do you stop someone who literally cannot be killed by the weapon you built to kill him? And I think the answer lies in Soldier Boy.
Because Soldier Boy's power has always been unique. He can strip Compound V from a soup's system. So the real question now is, can he strip V1 too? If yes, then the endgame becomes clear. It is not about killing Homelander. It is about depowering him, turning him into a regular person, stripping away the thing that makes him feel like a god and forcing him to exist as something ordinary. And for Homelander, that would be worse than death. Now, let's talk about the side developments, because there are a few that matter. Deep killing Black Noir is significant, not because Noir was a major player, but because it effectively ends the Seven as a functioning unit. The only members left are Homelander, Soldier Boy, and the Deep, and with Soldier Boy now working against Homelander and the Deep being the Deep, the team is basically gone. That means Homelander is approaching his most powerful moment while simultaneously being more isolated than ever. That is poetic, and I think intentional. Aether's scenes at the church also deserve attention, because his justification for following Homelander is actually one of the most disturbing things in the episode. He does not follow Homelander because he thinks he is good. He follows him because Homelander at least responds. That is a terrifyingly simple reason to worship something dangerous, and honestly, it mirrors a lot of real-world psychology around why people follow destructive leaders. Then there's the trailer footage for the final episodes, and this is where things get really exciting.
Butcher gathering the team at what looks like a motel and saying one last go tells you exactly what the tone of the finale is going to be. This is the final mission. This is everything they have left thrown at one target. Marie from Gen V being warned by Starlight also suggests that the crossover element is going to factor into the endgame somehow. Personally, I hope her involvement is meaningful but limited. This is Butcher's story. This is the boys' fight. And the emotional payoff needs to come from the characters we have spent 5 seasons with. But the shot that matters most is Homelander sitting at the president's desk in the Oval Office. That image tells you everything. He is no longer playing within the system, he's replacing it. And if the final 2 episodes follow through on that, then we are heading toward the darkest version of this story the show has ever told. So my final theory is this. The endgame will not be about killing Homelander. It will be about Soldier Boy stripping his powers while Butcher and the boys create the opening. Marie may play a role in reaching whatever is left of Homelander's humanity, and the show will end not with a physical victory, but with an emotional one. A god forced to become a man. And for Homelander, that is the only ending worse than death. But anyway, that is my breakdown of The Boys Season 5, Episode 6, and my theories on how the final 2 episodes could play out. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments. Do you think Soldier Boy can strip V1 from Homelander, or is the show heading toward a completely different kind of ending? I will catch you in the next one.